you've got to be confident in yourself, but not over the top.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. I think people over here, because you have got to be single-minded, and you've got to be, you can be aggressive, you can come across rude sometimes, and have a certain amount of cocky arrogance about
So you think it's that coupling of that sort of attitude and character that gets you to the top, that puts the English off, whereas the
Americans, they thrive on that.
They respond.
That's the difference. If we'd have been an American team, and not an English team, we would have been put on pedestals.
Yeah.
You're right. We would have been paraded all over, because I did end up. I used to go and play with the Ironmen.
Well, do you remember we sorted that thing out when I went past, I'll never forget it, I was sitting down at World Cup, you were sitting down with the Ironmen, and I was walking past the archer shop, and I looked over and saw you there, and I thought, fucking hell, two English geezers from South East London, we ain't done bad, have we? You was playing with Ironmen, I was playing shop.
I thought myself,
top 3 or 4 teams in the world.
That's right. Considering the size of America in the comparison to the size of England, it's like we didn't have the money and the weather and the climate and the facilities and the amount of paint and shit we did. And for us to go and do what we did was phenomenal. But to go and play with them, to be asked to go and play with an American team when you're an Englishman, I thought, you know what, there's no greater accolade than that.
Brilliant, wasn't it?
It was fantastic, because there could have been literally
a million. They could have picked us.
They could have picked us. They picked us. Well, that just shows you how good we was, because I've never ever heard of an English team that's got an American to play with them full time. Not that I know of. That's come from the States to play.
Well, in latter day, but I don't really care. Nexus when I had Tony Perez came, but I don't really care. Right. But one thing you touched upon there that I want to bring up, and this is one of the reasons I asked you to do the interview, but I've been meaning to do this interview for a long time, was that on the boards, you know, my paintballer.com boards, there was a thread. Now, Twiz, you remember Twiz?
Oh, Twiz had titles,
yeah. Right. Twiz, basically, he's never going to give up paintball, he's going to fucking go on again.
I know Twiz, yeah, nice fella.
Yeah, didn't he play with the Preds at one time?
He did in the early years. Yeah. He's prospected for us.
Oh, right, okay. Well, he still plays and he looks after and coaches a couple of teams. One of the teams he's doing is Tigers, as you know, and they're still about. Now, he went over to play in the States. Now he played, I think it was in either a 4th, 5th division at the World Cup. On the boards over here, a couple of people went in and basically they offended me. And the reason they offended me was because they were completely ignorant of the likes of what you did, the likes of what other people did. I'm not going to even mention me, and it pissed me off because of what I did and what you did and other people did with respect to the States. And the reason is this, because Twiz, I like him, and I'm not disrespecting the players that play in that 4th division, but the rhetoric on these posts was, yeah, go on boys, take it to the Yanks, give it to them. Now,
they've already done it.
Yeah, but the point was, mate, that I made the point that these guys are not competing. No. You don't compete in the 4th or 5th division of the World Cup, you're playing in it. If you're going to compete, you compete for the fucking top.
That's right.
Now, when these guys go take it to the Yanks in a 4th division fucking knockout, it don't mean bollock all. What you did, what I did, and what other people did, even the Tigers did 5 years ago, they compete at the top, and that's how far we've come down, Mark. I mean, what we did,
you won't repeat it.
We can. Is that it? We won't repeat it.
You will never. I don't think the thing with it is the way paintball's got in this country now. What basically happened with it was people thought it was the birth or rebirth of paintball going on to play in these arenas. And stuff.
Arena ball, basically.
Arena ball, but it was basically the kiss of death for paintball, as far as I'm concerned. Because the thing with it is that it was like it was an arms race, and it's only paintball is played for enjoyment and different fields and stuff. And when you've been and played one an arena ball, I'm not saying they're all the same, but it's the same scenario all the time.
Mark, they are now.
Well, they're all the same, and it's like you might as well sit down and fucking play a computer game.
I went to watch a game at Paris, and this was indicative of a pro game. I'm not joking. I was watching my old team, Nexus play, I think, and then a couple of other games. So I saw about 7 or 8 games, I think, something like that. The average time of the game was about 40 seconds.
But it's
40 seconds.
But this is what I'm saying. I think the reason why paintball's died. Okay, you've obviously had the economic climate. But also as well, I think the reason why paintball's played because people don't. Who wants to go out and pay a couple of £100 to last 40 seconds and play paintball? You've got to not get no fresh blood, new blood coming through. And also the other thing is well, people don't.
But because people are not getting value for money.
That's one side. The other thing is as well, when you used to play in the woods, anybody could play paintball. You could be the fastest, most fittest man in the world, or you could be a bloke that's 22 stone standing behind a tree firing his gun. And you could have some sort of impact on the game.
Yes, absolutely right.
You cannot now go and play
Absolutely
arena ball unless you've got a certain degree of fitness. You're small and you're wiry, so a lot of people now, and also the age side of it comes into it as well, right? They don't play, so all these people, you're losing.
So the demographic is like constricted.
It's come down to basically a lot of young kids.
Yeah, no respect.
No respect. No, I won't say no respect. A lot of young kids don't know no better. But a lot of young kids that's come down. A few older people in there that probably stand at the back running the line or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's where paintball's great. It's gone down because it's not. People talk about spectator friendly and stuff, and it is. For the spectators, it might be better. But what you lose sight of, people don't play paintball for the spectators. You play paintball for enjoyment out of yourself.
Absolutely right. No,
and this is what people lost. When you stopped playing in the woods, you lost the enjoyment of being able of concealment, of fieldcraft, of reading a field, of communication, of covering fire, of aggressive play, right? Being able to attack a team, being able to roll back, and the longer you're playing the game, the more enjoyment you get out of it. You're getting value for money.
Well, I'd describe it as a wham bam thank you, man. That's exactly it. Fucking 40 seconds. That's right.
That's exactly what it is. And also the other thing is as well, it's a technology race as well.
Let me just make sure you're in the shot and it's still working. Otherwise, that's good. That's good. We're still there. Yeah.
It's like a technology race as well. I can remember when I come out, when I stopped playing paintball, you had intimidators and these guns with electronic triggers, and they had the double speed hoppers, and they had the reactive triggers and stuff. And within, I can remember playing arena ball or speedball, whatever you want to call it, breaking out. As soon as you're breaking it out, there's like 5,000 paintballs in the air. What possible skill is in that?
Well, what you're saying is that the amount of paint constricts the amount of skill that you can actually utilise. Yeah, it's constricting the game skills.
It's right, you can't. Okay, I know there is obviously skill involved. There is some. Yeah, there is skill involved in it, but I can guarantee you, any team. I actually say this on tape, right? I would defy any of these top or so-called arena ball teams to go and play in the woods and be as successful.
Right. Similarly, they could flip it back the other way, but then again, who would want to go the other way?
Yeah, but you say that though, but you did, Pete. But in the early days, we did it. You did it, and other teams, we used to play on the arena ball and then fields. And we used to be able to play both games. But then
that was a big field then,
it was a big field. We used to have a long ball and the fields were big, all the tiny little fields where the paint wouldn't reach from one boundary tape to another.
The idea now is to constrict the fields as much as you can. They've got fucking hardly any bunkers, so the game's over so quick. It's mad.
You know, if paintball wants to continue and evolve, they need to make the fields bigger.
Yeah. It can't evolve now. It's got to that point in evolution where it's impossible to evolve.
Well, it needs to go back.
How can it do when you've got 40-second games?
Well, it needs to go back into the woods.
Right. Let's bring us on to some questions from all these people. Right. Some of these guys. Right. Nicky T. Do you remember Nicky Truber?
Vaguely.
He remembers it. He used to play with Mark Toyer over. I forget.
Oh, he's American.
No. He's English. Anyway, he says, I'd like to know if there are ever any UK players that he would have liked to join the Predators but couldn't get them to. If so, who were they and what were their reasons for not going? I think he's saying probably asked him or didn't ask him. But go on. Were there any players?
You was one of them, Pete.
Yeah, but I gave you the reason.
Yeah, you was one of them. To be quite truthful with you, if in England then somebody would have come up to me and financially backed me more than what I did, I could have had a team. I would have been rude. I would have been like Alice Ferguson at Manchester United. I would have, and because I didn't take no shit off of players. I'm not being arrogant or trying to be bombastic. If my players didn't cut the grade, you did not play. It wasn't down to personalities. It was down to what you could do.
Well, that's the best philosophy.
That's the reason why we were successful. But you didn't cut it. And if I'd have been, say, the captain of the English, I always wanted to go to America as the English Lions. Yeah.